Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make this peony out of crepe paper. First you'll need some crepe paper. I use light yellow, pink, and green. You'll also need some wire for the stem, some floral tape, regular glue, and scissors. You'll also need a glue gun at the end to attach the leaves. First we're going to make the center of the flower. Take a small part of your yellow crepe paper, about 1 inch, and you're going to just cut along the grain and make tiny little strips. Once you've cut about 10 strips, take one at a time and roll it up between your fingers. I didn't roll up the edges so that the tip of the strip would be thicker than the rest of it. So just roll it up and leave a little gap at the end. Once you've twisted all of the strips, gather them into one bunch and fold them in half. Take the wire that you are using as your stem and bend the tip a little so that it creates a hook. Hook this through the strips that have been folded in half. Now take your floral tape and wrap this around the center. Now you need to cut 2 sets of strips. You'll have the narrow strip and the wider strips. You'll need to cut about 10 each. 3/4 of an inch by 2 inches, and the wider strip is about 1 1/4 inches by 2 inches. I actually recommend making your strips a little bit longer. Instead of 2 inches, maybe 2.5 to 3 inches. Now we're going to cut the petal shape. It kind of looks like a deflated balloon with a neck at the bottom. Make your neck a little bit longer than mine. Starting from the top, cut the curve of the petal and then cut the neck part. Then I like to flip the paper over and cut from the top again. Now I'm going to show you the 2 basic techniques for shaping your petal. The first one is called cupping. Take your narrow petals and at the base right before the neck, using the pad of your thumbs, pull and stretch the crepe paper. Make sure to stretch all the way to the edge. Doing this should create a cup shape or a bowl. Leave the center top of the petal unstretched. The second technique is called fluting. Take your wide petal and do the same as you did earlier when cupping. Stretch the base of the petal. Now at the top center, what you're going to do is hold the petal like you're about to rip it. Twist your left hand away from yourself while twisting your right hand towards yourself. You're basically creating a ruffle at the top of the petal. Cup your 10 narrow petals and flute your 10 wide petals. Once you're done cupping and fluting all of the petals, we're going to start to attach them. You'll need glue for this part. For the first couple of layers, we will be using all of the narrow petals. Put a little bit of glue at the base of the petal and wrap it around the center. Make sure that the cup shape is still there. Take your second narrow petal, apply some glue at the bottom, and wrap it directly across from the first petal that you wrapped so that it closes up the area that's left open. Now we're going to do our second layer with 3 more narrow petals. When you apply the third petal, make sure that it covers the edge where the previous 2 petals overlap. When you're applying the layers, try to layer the petals so that one edge is tucked inside of the other petal. That way they all support each other. For this second layer, you're going to use 3 of the narrow petals. For the next layer, you're going to use all 5 of the remaining narrow petals. The rest of the layers should be made up of 5 petals for each layer. Now we're going to add petals to make the peony larger. Cut strips that are about 3 inches tall and 1 1/4 to 1 1/2 inch wide. You're going to flute these petals. Make sure that when you're stretching the sides, stretch all the way to the edge of the paper. This will create the cup shape that we need. The number of petals you'll need depends on how big you want your peony and how many layers you want. Since you're using 5 petals per layer, it's good to try out 10 petals first to see if you're satisfied with how it looks. Now we're going to create the calyx of the flower. Take a strip of green paper, this time maybe about 3 inches wide and 1/2 inch tall. You're going to cut triangles, but don't cut all the way through the paper, leaving a bit left over so that you have a strip of triangles that are attached. Apply some glue at the base of your calyx strip and wrap it around the base of the flower. Try not to stretch the calyx too much. Now I'm going to show you how to cut the leaves. Just cut a large square of green paper. Make sure that the grain or the crinkles of the paper are going at a diagonal. And then cut the square at a diagonal cut. Make sure that when you cut out the shape of the leaves, the crinkles are going in a diagonal about 45 degrees upwards. Take another square. This time make sure that the crinkles are facing at an angle opposite and cut out the leaves. This way, when you glue the leaves together, they have the veins that are going outwards, pointing away from the center. Using your glue gun, attach the leaves to the wire. To finish up, you can wrap up the stem with floral tape, or if you'd like, you can also cut out strips of the crepe paper and wrap the entire stem like that. And now you're done. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment.